This guided walkthrough series for Resident Evil Requiem covers how to complete all challenges, collect all weapons, attachments, and charms, and get the most out of your experience with the game. There will be spoilers in the form of important information, and as usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. Completing all challenges will require at the very least 2 complete playthroughs of the game. Our first playthrough will be on casual difficulty and will be the major focus of this series. We'll be completing all but a very few challenges, which will be saved for our Insanity Mode playthrough. As we head to the Wrenwood Hotel, we'll want to interact with the display on our right to add the Wrenwood City Guide to our files. This is the first of many files that we must obtain for the Case Closed challenge. We'll then continue forward until triggering a cutscene. The 2 challenges that will be most difficult to get on our first playthrough are the Speed Demon and Never Touch the Stuff challenges. For Speed Demon, we'll need to complete the game in under 4 hours, and for Never Touch the Stuff, we will need to do so without using any healing items. Since we'll be doing a bunch of other challenges and finding all collectibles, completing the game in under 4 hours is no easy task, but it is possible and we should be able to do it by following this guide series. To that end, spend as little time as possible in the item or map menus. If you need to pause, make sure to go to the pause menu, as this does not add to the playthrough timer. Time spent looking at the inventory or map, on the other hand, does add to that timer. Once we arrive at the hotel, we'll move to the bar area where we can find our first progress item, the old key. This will trigger a cutscene and we can then move to the lobby. Another file we need to obtain is actually in our inventory. It's the investigation report, and inspecting it will add it to our files. We'll then need to make our way to the office and open the desk drawer to obtain the notice of closure file. With that, we can go upstairs, pick up the wire cutters, then proceed to room 204. In room 204, we can investigate the photos on the bed, then find and inspect one near the top right to trigger a flashback. This flashback section is pretty easy to get through, just follow Dear Old Mum until it concludes. Back in the present day, we'll need to return to the lobby and inspect a portrait to find Alyssa's journal, and read it to add it to our files. We can then pull out the floppy disk to progress. It's then just a matter of grabbing the emergency exit key, escaping the turned policeman, and running back upstairs to the emergency exit. Switching over to Leon on Main Street, we'll need to progress through this beginning section of the game, and there are a couple of easy challenges we can complete. We'll also get the report on Victor Gideon automatically added to our files. As a quick reminder, if we want the Never Touch This Stuff challenge, we cannot use any healing items throughout the game, and this is not too difficult to accomplish on casual difficulty. Also, we will automatically heal to full health at certain points in the game, such as after this section, so it's not necessary to avoid absolutely all damage. One of the challenges we can complete fairly easily here is Bang for Your Buck, which requires us to defeat 3 or more zombies with a single shot from Requiem, our hand cannon. Just line them up and knock them down. Another couple challenges we can complete, though there will certainly be plenty of more opportunities, are Untouchable, which requires parrying an attack, and Can I Borrow This, which requires throwing or using an enemy weapon in combat. Once we've gotten all those challenges completed, we can make our way through the intersection with multiple crashed vehicles to finish this section. That will bring us back to Grace as we awaken in room 203 of the care center. We'll immediately find the progress notes on the nearby table, which we can add to our files, then proceed through the darkened care center to find the cherub key. We should definitely turn on all working lights along the way. The cherub key will open the door to room 201, where the first typewriter is found. Typewriters serve as manual save stations for Grace. We'll also find the lighter in the nearby closet. This will allow us to light up room 202, where we can open the closet to obtain our next file, the note on a cardboard box. With that, we'll move back towards room 203, but turn right to enter the nurse's station. Upon entering, we'll encounter a monstrosity known only as the Girl. She is vulnerable to bright lights, so we can run to room 203 for safety. Once the girl has left us alone, we can return to the nurse's station. There, we can find a well-hidden antique coin atop a locker. We can then move the nurse cart across the room to get the screwdriver, a key item. We'll then need to hide behind some boxes as the girl re-enters the nurse's station and sneak around her. The girl will attempt to cut us off, and we just need to pull her towards us, then outmaneuver her by going through the new exit she made for us in the nurse's station. Our destination is room 201. With a screwdriver, we can collect the fuse, then take it to the power box that is near where we initially found the cherub key to make our escape. That will bring us back to Leon arriving at the care center himself. Following the nurse will eventually result in a cutscene followed by a combat sequence where multiple zombies must be defeated. The chainsaw that one of them drops can be a pretty big help here and aid us in conserving ammo. Once all zombies have been defeated, we'll then need to use that chainsaw to break out through the southern exit. Making our way to the main care center area, we will find the first of 25 Mr. Raccoon Memoriams or statues. We will eventually need to destroy all 25 for the You Little Rascal challenge, but for now it's just a linear path we need to follow to finish this short section as Leon. That brings us back to Grace and what is the longest continuous section that we will be playing as her, which takes place in the care center. Our first objective is to reach the main safe room, the guard office, located on the ground floor. Once there, we can pick up an antique coin, obtain 2 more files, care center pamphlet, and whiteboard scroll, then proceed into the medication room for the West Wing keycard. Returning to the guard office, we can sort our inventory at the item box. We want our 2 antique coins, Requiem, and the keycard. This will make sure we have enough inventory space to maximize efficiency. We'll then proceed into the West Wing. Our first obstacle is the chef zombie in the kitchen. If we time our movements right and on casual difficulty, we can get past the chef with minimal hiding. We then need to get past the light switch zombie, and I'm not sure if there's another method of doing it, but I found moving fast to work around 90% of the time. There is a pistol, the B934, in the dining room, but a better pistol is just a bit further ahead, and picking up the B934 at this time will take up room that we don't have in our inventory, so we are better off just leaving it for now. What we will want to grab in the filing room is the makeshift knife, which can come in handy for getting past zombies efficiently. We can also grab some ammo and another antique coin as we head towards the staircase. Before going upstairs, let's take the wheel handle off the door to the cold storage room, and this will make it easier to access later when we have a hostile zombie on our tail. We can then shank our way past the zombie on the staircase and update our map by interacting with the display on the wall. Moving into the bar and lounge, we'll need to complete a few tasks. First, we can collect an antique coin off the piano, then sneak around the zombies to reach the safe behind the bar. It can be opened by spinning clockwise to 10, counterclockwise to 80, and clockwise to 30. We'll find 3 antique coins inside. We can then go grab the S&S handgun. At this point, we'll try to line up the zombies on our tail and use Requiem to take them all out. The zombie we need to hit is the Singer zombie, as it's the toughest, and defeating both Singers is required for a challenge. Also, the Singer drops an antique coin when defeated. With that handled, we will next move to the gallery where we can find the folded note file in a bloody lab coat. We can then move into the chairman's office for a few things. First, we can go grab the pencil near the zombified chairman, which we will need in a minute. We can then go inspect the trash for the note to the chairman file. And returning to the previous room, we can get the copy of an email to a manager file near the puzzle box, then interact with the box and input the sequence Moon, Sun, Star, Moon to obtain the Moon Quartz key item. There's a notepad on the coffee table that we can use the pencil on to reveal a third file, the chairman's note. Finally, we can interact with the unicorn trinket box and hit the button on the back to open it up and grab the red jewel from inside. With that, we'll make our way past one final zombie to the east and emerge on the second floor of the central hall. We can insert our moon quartz into the door with indents. We'll be returning to the guard office soon enough, but first, let's go back into the west wing on the first floor. There's a door that we can insert the red jewel into just before reaching the kitchen. This door will open up to the parlor. There's technically a hidden antique coin we can get by shooting the number 29 or 15 on the roulette table, then spinning the wheel and hoping either number is landed on. However, we actually don't need it. For now, we will obtain the hip pouch for 3 antique coins, then grab the other 2 antique coins in the parlor and use them to open the case for the Blood Collector Override Manual. Getting this now will help us manage inventory space a lot better in the upcoming section. We'll return here soon enough for the other 2 antique coin rewards. The last thing we need to grab is the East Wing keycard. The chef will now start roaming back and forth from the kitchen to the dining room, so we will watch out for him as we make our way back to the guard office. If we want, we can go back into the medication room for an optional cutscene with Emily. Saving the game is recommended, and we should sort our inventory before heading to the East Wing. Immediately upon entering, we'll find our second Mr. Raccoon Memoriam on the desk in the East Wing lobby. We can then move north to the examination room. A safe can be found inside, opened with the following combination: counterclockwise to 30, clockwise to 10, and counter to 50. There are 3 antique coins inside. We'll also find a Hemolytic Injector here, and we should save it for a more important use later on. For now, we'll move out north and then west all the way to the Blood Lab. We can pick up some scrap in the locker, then find the Blood Collector and the denatured blood specimen. We need to analyze the specimen in the laser microscope to unlock crafting recipes. After obtaining the blood compound synthesis file, we can collect the blood from the nearby bucket and combine it with the scrap we just grabbed to create a second hemolytic injector. We will eventually need a total of 5 injectors for our purposes. To make another hemolytic injector, we can return to the examination room and collect the blood from the bucket there. We may also need to defeat the zombies there. They also have the chance to provide blood upon being defeated. Going back towards the blood lab, we will divert to the south past the light switch zombie. We're heading towards the lead researcher's office. Along the way, we'll grab another antique coin, as well as destroy our third Mr. Raccoon Memoriam. Inside the lead researcher's office, we can break the vase to our left for another scrap, pick up the nearby lockpick, then save at the typewriter. If you still need more blood to create a third hemolytic injector, try aiming the knife and stabbing the zombies that followed us upstairs. With any luck, they will drop blood upon defeat, which we can collect and then combine with the recently acquired scrap for a third hemolytic injector. We can then move towards the conference room to grab the level 1 ID wristband. After meeting Chunk, we'll then need to backtrack down the stairs we recently ascended, making our way towards the waiting room, where we will need to carefully manage our inventory as we complete several objectives. Immediately upon entering, we can pick up an antique coin. We should then defeat the 2 zombies that inhabit this room. While they can't technically be used to get the internal dispute challenge, there is another opportunity to get that challenge soon, and it will be much easier to do then. After defeating the zombies and collecting their blood, we can move west to the desk and obtain the safe replacements file. There are also 2 more antique coins in the nearby already open safe. Opening the one-way door out west, we can use the lockpick we have to open the drawer of the small table, but we don't want to grab the rare metal inside, at least not yet. In any case, opening this lock will get us the like mother, like daughter challenge. We should also have 3 hemolytic injectors at this point and can get to work on our friend, Chunk. Return to the hallway that goes towards the lead researcher's office and locate Chunk, then bring him to the entrance of the waiting room. He'll be unable to squeeze inside, and after attempting to do so, we'll begin moving away. It's at that point that we need to approach Chunk's back and stick him with the hemolytic injector. We will need to do this a total of 3 times before he is defeated. In between each injector, we'll return to the waiting room and wait for him to try getting inside before giving up. We can make use of that in-between time by opening up the nearby level 1 door with our ID wristband. We want to make sure we grab the 12.7mm ammo first and load it into our Requiem, then grab the scrap to craft a hemolytic injector, and finally get the converged blood specimen. Defeating Chunk as Grace will complete the Grace and Goliath challenge, and Chunk will also drop the I Spy charm. If we haven't already done so, we can use the transfusion bag that the IV zombie drops when defeated, then make our way back to the blood lab to analyze our new blood specimen with the laser microscope. We also now have the means of opening the level 1 door near the microscope. We need to be mindful of the order that we grab things in here as well. We can add Victor's journal entry to our files, then if we have room for more blood in our collector, we can grab and use the transfusion bag. I also broke down my damaged makeshift knife into scrap, then combined it with the other scrap in this room to make a fresh knife. What we need to be sure we do is grab the reversible blood specimen before we grab the empty injector. We can then go analyze the specimen to unlock the recipe for steroids and stabilizers. With that, we can go pick up the empty injector and use it to craft one of the two. Steroids can be used as a form of healing during a no-heal playthrough. They do not count against the Never Touch the Stuff challenge. However, I have found that personally, I prefer dealing more damage and so just crafted the stabilizer instead. If you do make the steroids though, make sure to hold onto them until you need it to heal, then use that in place of conventional healing items. With that, we will make our way back to the guard office to deposit some items. If you have a spot in your inventory like me, you can stop by the drawer we lockpicked earlier and grab the rare metal. If you still need blood to make use of the empty injector, you can get 70 from the medication room. The only use of rare metal is to craft more ammo for Requiem, so feel free to do that if you are able to do so, and load it into the revolver. I recommend bringing the following items for our second trip into the West Wing. This time around, we can sneak up on the chef zombie and take him out with a single hemolytic injector. He will drop the pantry key when defeated and also get us the Order Up challenge. We can then head back into the parlor to get the final two rewards, those being the stabilizer and steroids. Again, I'm saving the steroids here to use if I ever lose health and need to heal. Before going to the Custodian's office, we will make a brief detour into the kitchen and open up the pantry with our newly acquired key. Here we'll find the Stakeout Takeout charm, more heavy ammo, blood, and scrap, which we can use to craft ammo if we want. We'll then make our way through another level 1 door to reach the Custodian's office. There is another scrap and lockpick here, though they are most likely going to just sit in storage. The more important item to grab here is the wrench, and we can also save our game at the typewriter. We'll then move south towards the garage and obtain the construction notice file along the way. The organ transport box is found near the far end of the garage. We haven't gotten the file that shows us how to open it yet, but it will open all the same if we just complete the required actions. Turn the dial to hand, then move down the 2 and 5 buttons. Turn the switch on the right up to the center point, then turn the dial back to auto. Doing this will open the box and get us the artificial lungs. Upon trying to leave the garage, a zombie-driven bulldozer will start heading towards us. We need one shot to break the glass and another well-aimed shot to take out the driver. Once that's been done, we can wait for the bulldozer to stop moving, then climb our way under and over it. It might be worth saving the game back in the Custodian's office before heading up the nearby stairs to the office. We'll want to move quietly here, grabbing the empty bottle before creeping into the records room. Once there, we can throw the empty bottle to hit the non-IV zombie. This will cause the IV zombie to start swinging, and with any luck, strike the other zombie. That will complete the internal dispute challenge. There's an empty injector in the records room, which we can use to craft another stabilizer or steroids if necessary, and it's okay if you don't have enough blood to make it right now. We can get a replacement for our knife and obtain the disposal team report file before returning to the office. There are 2 more files to obtain in the office, the bar and lounge safe code, as well as the background check for Grace. We'll then move out through the kitchenette, breaking our 4th Mr. Raccoon Memoriam along the way. Heading through the one-way door, we can then go downstairs and use the wrench we obtained earlier to open the way to the cold storage room, where the artificial heart is. Our space is pretty tight right now, but if you can, make space for the size 80 transfusion bag, as it will come in handy for cheesing one of the more grueling challenges later on, assuming we can get it back to our storage. In any case, we will now be heading back to the guard office, making just one more stop at the level 1 closet in the filing room along the way. And this is where we can find the second of 4 hip pouch upgrades for Grace. The last 2 are in later sections of the game. We'll then head back to the guard office and feel free to pick up the B934 along the way, just be careful not to accidentally load it. This gun is worse in every way when compared to the SNS, and so we'll just be going straight into our storage box. Here is what I am bringing for our second trip through the East Wing. I believe we should have room for the Stakeout Takeout charm if you want to carry that as well, but it's not necessary. We will head to the examination room first. It's very likely, as happened in my game, that one of the zombies that we previously defeated in the treatment room will turn into a blisterhead. To avoid having to deal with that, quickly defeat the surgeon zombie, slot the artificial lungs and heart into the cadaver, then back out into the hallway of the East Wing lobby while waiting for the cadaver to reanimate. We can then defeat that zombie from the hallway and quickly snag the level 2 ID wristband that it drops. We'll then head back to the lobby and move through the waiting room up towards the lead researcher's office. Before going to the researcher's office, we need to head into the conference room to grab some corrosive and defeat the second Singer zombie. Lucky for us, the changing room just before the conference room has all the materials we need to craft a final Hemolytic injector. This is also where we will obtain the examination room safe code file. With that, we can head into the conference room and fight our way to the second Singer zombie, then use the Hemolytic injector on her to ensure her defeat. This will unlock the deadly Duet challenge. Finally, we need to read and obtain the patient medical records file, then grab the corrosive before battling our way back out of here. Heading into the lead researcher's office and the actual office part of it will trigger a cutscene. Afterwards, we can go back into the office where the puzzle box is and obtain multiple files, those being lead researcher's message and lead researcher's pictures 1 through 3. The corrosive can be used to unlock the puzzle box, which then opens with the sequence Star, Sun, Moon, Sun. Inside, we'll find the Sun Quartz as well as a leather-bound notebook that we can inspect to obtain 2 files, Spencer's Research 1 and unlocking the organ transport box. We'll then need to move back downstairs and through the only level 2 security door, which leads into the isolation ward. There are 2 files to obtain here, and both are found in the room right before the security manager's office. Those files are Double Mutation and Nurse's Log. We will then need to inspect both the security manager's notebook as well as the final puzzle box to obtain the level 3 ID wristband. This will also trigger a cutscene that releases some new zombies from the isolation ward. I recommend defeating all those zombies away from the main path that leads to the security manager's office, as they will transform into blister heads when we try to get back here. With that done, we can return to the guard office and go into the medication room. Our 5th Mr. Raccoon Memoriam is hiding behind the bed in the unoccupied cell. We can then open up the cell where Emily is to progress. It's a good idea for us to save before heading out. If we need to clear the way to the isolation ward, we can set Emily back down on the couch in the guard office and head out on our own. However, if you've been following this guide closely, then the way should already be clear enough to make the journey. As mentioned, some of the zombies we defeated just a few minutes ago will transform into blister heads, but just ignore them and head straight for the puzzle box. When the next section starts up, those blister heads should go away. Once we've delivered Emily to the puzzle box, we will need to defeat a total of 4 zombies outside the room. One of the zombies will then be chosen at random to transform into a blister head, and will need to be defeated again. With all enemies defeated, we can return to Emily, go through a short cutscene, then follow her down to the basement of the care center. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section, where I will do my best to help. The care center basement and all other sections of the game that lead up to Leon's major section of Resident Evil Requiem will be covered in part 2 of this series. You can find that over on my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day if you're here today, have a great Sunday, and a great week. And as always, thanks for watching.